They get together to create music and atmospheres that are Jesus-focused and eternity-minded. We're all about that on Spirit 105.3, talking about the local band Canyon Hills Worship. They started out right in Bothell at Canyon Hills Community Church, and we're so happy to have one of the band members with us this morning. He's also the worship pastor at Canyon Hills Community. Pastor Koby, welcome to the show. We are so excited to be playing your beautiful new song, On and On. And we got to know right off the bat here, was this inspired right here in the Northwest?
Man, yeah, we actually wrote this with a couple friends from out in Georgia, and we were down in Tacoma, and we had a house overlooking the water, and just started talking about needing a song that speaks to just kind of that throne room experience with the Lord. One day when we get to meet him, everything we see now is just kind of a shadow of what's to come, so trying to imagine what that would be like. And so that's kind of where it started.
I was thinking about On and On as kind of an all-out worship song. I mean, there's no ambiguity about it. The song is about him and his majesty, and that's really cool. You don't hear that every time for sure.
No, I think that's the heart. I mean, we've always just had a heart for shepherding our people and a heart for leading our own people in worship. And honestly, that's just as worship leaders first. Those are the hardest songs that seem to come by, are the ones that truly are all about the Lord, very little about us in it. And so that's part of the motivator of looking at it going, man, we as a church need it. And it would be awesome if it turns out that other people also need that in their own private worship. But that's definitely a driving force behind it.
I feel like, Pastor Koby, it's easy to believe that God is powerful, but you guys are singing about his kindness and how it goes on and on and on. How do you see God's kindness in your life?
Man, well, actually, the interesting thing is with that song in particular, that kind of came out of just in my own, the verses. I mean, there are lots of people that worked on writing the song, but seeing God's kindness, the idea that when we come before the Lord, we come before the Lord humbly because we know a great price was paid so that we could come before the Lord. But we also get to come boldly because we've been invited by the King. And just that idea of like there's this constant, both things are true, right? Like the Lord is powerful, the Lord is holy, the Lord is all of these things, and yet he is still treats us like a father. He's still kind, like a good father who welcomes us and draws us into his presence. And I think that's how I see it. For a song like this, I think what we love about it is it hopefully paints both of those pictures of, man, listen, God is nothing like us, and God deserves our highest praise and adoration. However, he is also so kind and so loving that we are not an inconvenience. He welcomes us into his presence and was willing to pay such a high price to make that access available.
How would you describe worship across the Pacific Northwest?
Man, that's a great question. Honestly, I don't know that I could speak to many other places or people's worship. I think it should be the same as it is everywhere. From a biblical standpoint, when we come to worship, it is the people of God getting to come together to sing good songs among good friends to a really good God, to take a moment to take our eyes off of ourselves, because I think the world has trained us to look at ourselves a little too much, to be reminded that it's all about Jesus, and then to get our eyes off of this moment, the sufferings, the struggles, the trials of today, and be reminded that, man, this is not all there is, that eternity is coming, and that eternity has been secured by Jesus. So I don't know how I would describe worship as it is in the Northwest. I hope that's what worship becomes in the Northwest, are getting our eyes off of ourselves and getting them back on Jesus in eternity.
How excited are you guys to hear your song on your hometown radio station?
Oh, we are so pumped. It's dumb. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie That Thing You Do.
Yes.
But there's a scene where the people, and I've already told one of the ladies that works at our church, one of our admin assistants, I said, because many of the people I work with are too young to have enjoyed that movie. I loved that movie. And I already told her, I was like, the first time we ever hear a song of ours on the radio, I'm going to run through the office pretending I'm jumping over parking meters. Because even if it only ever happens one time, it's just it's like a childhood dream for me, but so many on our team, like we've gotten like screenshots from other people who have heard random songs on the radio kind of around the country, but we've never actually heard it here or heard it with our own ears. So we're planning on parking in front of a radio at the church and just sitting there until we hear it. And we've even had to make plans because we lead our senior saints in worship every Tuesday morning. We've already warned them ahead of time, hey, we may be a couple minutes late. Just can't miss this thing, but we'll be there. Just give us a couple minutes just in case.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we're so pumped.
Well, we'd love to get to know you as a band. So what do you all do together? Do you go out for pizza or coffee? Do you go bowling? What bonds you guys?
You know, people talk about looking back on the good old days and kind of missing them as they happen. We fully believe we're living in the good old days right now and are trying to enjoy every moment. Our team is just genuinely really good friends who have the privilege of getting served together at church. And so we do everything together. One of our favorite pastimes, we play Bump. It's a basketball game. We play that a lot because we find that a team that's laughing together is one that works really well together. And so we play basketball, we get coffee, we enjoy Chipotle is probably a food favorite for the group. But really, like, we are blessed. We work really hard. There's a lot. Like, we just came out of Easter. Everyone feels a little bit like been half drowned and are coming up for breath for the first time. But we enjoy getting to do that because we are so honored to get to do it with the people that we get to do it with.
Just love it.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited about having your music on Spirit 105.3.
Well, we're so excited that you guys would be willing to do that. So thank you so much. And we're so excited.